Okay, we are going to talk some Coventry with Mr. Matt SB. We've been going back and forth for a while, but we finally chat. And I assume you're a rather happy chappy at the moment.
I'm very happy, Ben. First of all, absolute privilege to come on your channel. Massive fan of it myself.
Stop it.
But yes, we need to talk Coventry today because we are absolutely flying and we need to talk while it lasts because hopefully it lasts all season. But while it's looking good, we need to discuss it.
And it is looking good. And I tried to be fairly sort of balanced with Coventry. I think I predicted 14th on the basis the trend has been upwards for a good few seasons. The club seems way more stable than it has been. The recruitment was kind of exciting and they were in the main getting it right. And when the chips were down at the end of last season, they really did step up well, didn't they, Coventry? So I had it trending upwards, but this is ridiculous. Third place at game 11 and 18 points scored at home before the October international break. Just give me your general reflections on a fantastic start.
Yeah, well, I'll start with last season because you're absolutely right. It is a massive jump. For 40 games of last season, it was tight. We were dangling. I mean, we were above it for most of the season, but it was tight. And then the last 6 games, a rocket went up us. We did amazing, obviously. Finished in 16th. You're right, we ended really well. In the end, it was that 1-0 over Rotherham that was the massive result. And then we've taken that form into the start of this season, and I couldn't see this happening. Honestly, in the home form as well. The Rico, well, it's not the Rico, it's the CBS now, but the Rico wasn't always a happy ground for us. We've had some bad memories there. Obviously, Highfield Road is where a lot of Coventry fans have had their best memories.
What a stadium.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't get to go, too young for that.
Oh, but, I did, yeah.
Yeah, the Rico, which it wasn't a happy hunting ground. I think the change of the name is where it's all gone right for us. And yeah, absolutely flying this season. 6 wins from 6. I couldn't believe it myself. I don't know what to say.
Absolutely. No, it's been one of the good news stories as well. Please tell me when you go into Luton and that big 5-0 defeat, you must have thought, oh, okay, is that the rude awakening? And then here comes Fulham and Mitrovic having just banged in a brilliant hat-trick. I loved it. I was watching live. And then to turn Fulham over 4-1 as well. Did you think that kind of intimates the staying power? We're going to come on to individual players, and I'm sure it's pretty obvious which one you're going to pick. But a lot of the points being accumulated in one place, a lot of the goals coming from one particular player. But are you confident that even if it's not third position and 2 points per game, that you can ride this out in some kind of viable way going forward?
I think we can. I think the way Coventry fans are measuring it is because Mark Robins is the manager and it's only really been success under him. Obviously, he came in just as we were going down to League Two. A good season in League Two. We bounced straight back. We won the Checker trade. Obviously, good first season back in League One. Then we won League One. And then, like you say, it is an upward trajectory each year. And I had us 14th as well this season.
Did you?
I did, actually, yeah.
I'm quite pleased about that because you know way more about Coventry than I do.
Yeah. The thing is, we are going up, but when you get to the Championship, that is the real golf thing. You kind of need your money to get up through the Championship. And we're doing well. It's hard to see how the season's going to pan out with the home form being so different to the away form. You're absolutely right. The Luton game was horrific, but then the Fulham game was so good that I don't know how to feel. It was like 2 completely different performances. Other than the Luton game, I would say on the road we've still been okay. There's the 1 defeat at Barnsley where we really should have got something.
Unlucky to lose there, Matt. Yeah.
The penalty in the last minute as well. QPR, that was a tight game, which they just got the better of us. But the Luton game, for me, it has to be a blip. Based on the first 11 games, it's the only one we haven't turned up for. We need that to be the case because going into the next couple of games after the international break, it's 2 more away games, Blackburn and Preston. We need to get points on the road if we're going to keep this up.
Yeah, and even without all the knowledge that you definitely have and I may have on Coventry, even just literally just look down the results and that one at Luton will pop out as a massive outlier. Now, how do I pitch this question? Because I've been asking everyone, pick out, a player that you've enjoyed? Or shall I just say, would you like to talk about your super 9-goal Swedish striker who, let's be honest, couldn't get in the Swansea team and only really scored a couple of goals for you, but they saw something and they were right in Gyökeres. You don't have to pick him, by the way, but I assume you're going to.
Oh, it's so hard. When your team's doing so well, you don't want to just pick the one. I think from an outside of Coventry perspective, you'd probably say Gyökeres because he's getting the goals. And even I'd have to admit, without his goals, we obviously wouldn't be as high as we are. There's a couple of the signings that I have to mention. Simon Moore, for me, has been absolutely world class. He hasn't really put a foot wrong. A really good signing. When we got him from Sheffield United, he obviously hadn't been in the team for a couple of years. He got them, I think he was with them when they got promoted from League One, but then they brought in Dean Henderson and he's been sat out for a while, but he's been absolutely fantastic. And you can see that with our defensive records improved this season, except for the 5-0 defeat. So, Simon Moore, but you've got to focus on Gyökeres because 9 goals in 11. He's had the call-up for Sweden now as well. So is he the next Zlatan maybe?
He just... every team wants that player who's going to put those numbers up, whoever it is and however they fit. And, if it works at Coventry and it wasn't going to work at Swansea, then so be it. And a very, very surprising start, but impressive stuff from Gyökeres. What has been your sort of standout performance so far of the season? You've got a few to choose from, really, haven't you? And I assume it's going to be a home game.
Yeah, I'd have to go for the Fulham one. The Fulham one was strange. You could kind of split it into 2 halves because I don't think for the first half an hour at least we weren't with it. And Fulham probably did deserve their lead, even if the goal was a little bit questionable. But the last hour of that game, we bullied them. I think you've seen a bit with Fulham. You can expose them a bit. We just pressured them when they had the ball. 4 goals in about 25 minutes. Okay, the penalty, I'll even admit that shouldn't be a penalty, but but I think we deserve to win nonetheless in that game. And it was a heavy win. We also beat Peterborough 3-0. Obviously, the opposition's not quite as good as Fulham, but still, that was another blitz where there was like 3 goals in 10 minutes. So we're a bit like that. I think we could turn it on and just get the goals in about 10 minutes. So it would have to be a home game. I'd probably go for the Fulham one, but we've had a couple of all the home games have been great. I'm really getting my money's worth from a season ticket. We had the Forest one where we won in the last minute, the Reading one where we won in the last minute. It's been quality all round.
There you go. Best value season ticket. Although Stoke is not far behind. I think they're 5 wins and 1 draw, aren't they?
Yeah,
a couple of outstanding home records there. Without necessarily digging one out, and we're accentuating the positive here, who do you think you can see a little bit more from, maybe step up as the season goes on and contribute a little bit more, who's maybe gone under the radar a little bit so far for Coventry?
Hard to say. Callum O'Hare could definitely step it up again because lately he's been good, but potential-wise, he can go to that next level. Gustavo Hamer's quality as well. I really do see Premier League quality in him. They're both quite recognised. If we're trying to think of a player under the radar, maybe Ben Sheaf, because he doesn't come in for all too much. He doesn't come in for many compliments, and he was actually getting quite a bit of criticism last year. But he just gets stuck in, and he's one of those players that he'll go under the radar. He really will go under the radar. He'll do the dirty side of the game, and he might not score the goals, but he's doing a really good job.
I know what you mean about O'Hare, because people are going to look at him and think, oh, you're a silky player. You receive the ball really nicely, move with the ball nicely. They're going to do what everyone does now and log onto their laptop. They're going to want to see progressive passes, key passes, passes into opposition box, and assists, aren't they? And I think I agree with you. That's where he'll trigger all of the scouts for, being this big asset once those numbers increase in that way. Would you agree?
Absolutely. I suppose Gyökeres might not have so many goals if it wasn't for O'Hare. I think the two they complement each other, if you know what I mean. So O'Hare gets the assist when Gyökeres puts it in the back of the net, and Gyökeres obviously gets the goals when O'Hare's putting it on a plate for him. So, chance creation-wise, really good. But, just in the first few games, obviously he hasn't scored. It's not necessarily his job to score, but you'd think after 10 or 11 he might have 1 or 2. So maybe his finishing needs to improve a bit, but all round he's just quality. And because of his age, you just think there's so much potential there.
It's one of those funny ones, isn't it, where one player's scoring most of the goals. Everyone says, oh, well, what about this guy? And what if he stops scoring? And I suppose the comeback can always be, well, that's not happened yet. So we'll just go with it as it's going on. I've been asking everybody higher or lower at Christmas. And this is a pretty difficult one for you to answer with some sense of realism on the basis that above you have a year 1 parachute team and a year 2 parachute team. You have Fulham kind of loitering. We're sort of expecting Sheffield United at some point as well. I'm sure your answer is probably going to be lower, but can they sort of stop around the top 6, the top 8 as we come up to Christmas?
Yeah, if lower, but not much lower as an option, that's what I'll go for.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Coventry we're third now, but we've put ourselves into a really good position. The problem is when you're that high up, usually the only way you can go is down. But the way we're going, I think we could have a battle for the top 6, but it'd possibly be on the 6th or 7th borderline. And at the moment, I'd probably just say lower because there is so much quality in there. It's tight, isn't it? I think I've got to be real, and I'm sorry to the Coventry fans, but I'm just going to go lower.
No. It makes all the sense in the world. The strange thing with the table at the moment, Matt, is it feels like and I mean, it's not like yours and my pre-season predictions are the gospel, but it feels like there's a lot of teams in the top half who are doing better than you expected, rather than, oh, I expected them to be in there, and then some in the bottom half. You know, if you look at a Coventry or a Stoke, QPR less so, but Huddersfield, Blackburn, Bristol City, Reading, Blackpool, I would have had them all a little bit lower down. And then in that bottom half, Cardiff, Swansea, Forest, Birmingham, Borough, Sheffield, you would have expected a little bit higher up. So if that plays out for another 5 games, 10 games, you do start to say, well, okay, so-and-so's a bigger club than Coventry, but they're a long way behind them, and it doesn't look like that's the battle this season. So, yeah, it'd be interesting if they can hang in there, particularly predicated on that brilliant home form. So here we go then. Give me a grade then, Matt. You're a YouTuber. You know all about this stuff. A letter grade for Coventry and Mark Robins' first 11 games.
It's got to be an A, hasn't it? We're third in the table. I mean, even the most optimistic Coventry fans wouldn't have put us this high in the table after 11 games. I won't say A star because of the 5-0 Luton defeat, but I'll say A. And you're spot on. The way I'm looking at it is, the longer you can keep this good start going, you only have to be okay or fairly good for the rest of the season just to finish around 6th. So if we can keep this up until, like you say, maybe November or early December, then you only have to be okay, win, defeat, and you stay around there for the rest of the season.
And given that home form as well, it's about beating a few teams that are maybe in the bottom 8 away from home, isn't it? And we said, Matt, we had exactly the same conversation about Reading last year, where exactly what you just said was the case with Reading, where they put themselves in such a position with a brilliant start of, you know, just keep that momentum going in some kind of way, and you will finish in the playoffs. And it had to be a big drop off for, okay, you're not quite where Reading were with 7 wins from the first 8 or whatever stupidity it was at the start. But certainly a brilliant start, and 6 wins out of 6 at home. Anyone in the world would take that. Matt, brilliant stuff. Great to speak to you. Give us a plug. Where can people watching my channel find you on YouTube and on Twitter, and what can they expect to see?
So just Matt SB on YouTube, Matt space SB, stands for Sky Blues, because obviously I'm a Coventry fan. I do championship content as well. So yeah, what I'll say is, if you like Ben's stuff, you like my own, obviously if there's some of my viewers here, you'll like Ben's as well. Fairly similar content in a way. So yeah, do go check that out, and appreciate you having me today.
Get involved. Oh, you're not a great Twitter user. I was going to say plug your Twitter, maybe plug your Instagram, or wherever people can find it. But maybe, head over to YouTube and see Matt. And let's see if this 3rd place perfect home record, you've got your fingers crossed, haven't you, can continue for Cov. But whatever you say, it's been a very, very good start thus far. Thank you very much for coming on, Matt.
Thank you.